We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. We get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait.
Australia will not send a warship to the Persian Gulf to help protect oil traffic.
We don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world.
During the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
After the president's request, General, China, Japan, South Korea, the UK are...
News regarding the war in Iran. Switzerland has refused the United States of America's request to allow military jets and aircraft to fly over Swiss territory.
Row, row, row your boat gently down. Merrily, 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 merrily.
Did Donald Trump just threaten NATO? Kind of. In a new article and interview by the Financial Times, Donald Trump kind of made a jab at NATO, saying that you guys need to step up or there's going to be a problem.
Well, you guys had it right. Wherever he turns his head to seek for help, they are giving him a middle finger. And now he is resorting to threatening NATO allies, telling them it's going to be terrible for them if they don't join him and go and send troops and send their boats and send their military to the Strait of Hormuz. But nobody is saying yes. Okay, even the Middle East, they say he's not giving them any protection. Their assets are getting destroyed and he's not doing anything. Meanwhile, actually, some of those assets have been destroyed by US. Yeah, you wanna ask where is his board of peace? Are you kidding me right now? The board of jokes? Because soon as this war broke, one by one came out to say they are withdrawing out of the board of peace. Yeah. All these other countries are like, none of the things he is saying make any sense. He told us he has obliterated. He has destroyed the capability of Iran and its navy, its military, its missiles, and everything is finished. Then why are you asking for help? Silly? Like, were you asking for help then? Guys, even his own navy said no. Bloated orange toad. You were around and now you find out. And oh, by the way, Iran said, they asked the foreign minister, are you in talks with these other countries to allow their ships to pass? And they said, yes. We are talking. Jesus Christ. So, you want to tell me all these countries that are saying no, Japan, UK, Australia, South Korea, which other country? Many of them, you guys are going to have to look at them, right? So you want to tell me all these countries are in talks and they are ignoring United States? I told you the downfall is going to be loud. He's been ghosted. He's been isolated. Nobody wants to be on the side of losers. Nobody wants to be on the side of liars. Yeah. Can we look at this? I'm doing quite a compilation for all of you to look at. I want you guys to sit through it. Let me know what you think. Please like and share. And I'll come back with commentary at the end of the stages. All right.
We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. We get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, so we want them to come and help us with the Strait.
This is the third day that Donald Trump is asking for allies to help the United States in opening the Strait of Hormuz. Trump made those comments you just watched during a luncheon for the Kennedy Center. And realistically speaking, in the past 3 days, every country has either said no or didn't give a response. And today we're hearing from two of them, including Germany. Germany's defense minister said in a statement, "It is not our war. We did not start it. What does the world expect? What does Donald Trump expect from a handful or two handfuls of European frigates to achieve there in the Strait of Hormuz, which the most powerful American Navy cannot manage alone?" We then heard from the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who said in the statement,
"We have to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to ensure stability in the market. So we're working with all of our allies, including our European partners, to bring together a viable collective plan that can restore freedom of navigation in the region."
He later went on to say that there's been no decision yet whether or not the UK would be sending warships to the region, saying, quote, "We're looking at options and expertise, but we're with our allies on that." You have to remember that Europe is currently fighting their own war, having to police the waters around the Baltics, the Mediterranean, and the Black Sea from Russia, who's been a major threat. And in doing so, they can't move their assets from protecting those waters down to Iran because the United States decided, you know what, we're going to go in and strike. There are no resources, and so it looks like Europeans will be looking at other allies and seeing what they can do in order to strengthen the Strait of Hormuz and get things protected.
President Trump has threatened NATO countries if they don't help keep the Strait of Hormuz open to ease the oil crisis now spreading around the world. He said it would be, quote, "very bad for the future of NATO" if his request for help went unanswered. Australia and Japan have already said they won't send ships to secure the channel through which 20% of the world's oil should ordinarily travel, but cannot because of ongoing Iranian attacks. The impact has already started to see gas prices in the US rise. If it continues, inflation could start to affect everything from groceries to mortgage rates. Our Martha Raddatz pressed Energy Secretary Chris Wright on President Trump's claim that pain will be short-lived.
How long should Americans expect for gas prices to be high?
Yeah, I think that this conflict will certainly come to the end in the next few weeks. Could be sooner than that. We had $5 gasoline in the middle of the Biden administration. We hope we don't get there this time, but at least this increase in gasoline prices is for something that's going to change the geopolitical situation in the world forever.
We have some pretty big news right now. America's allies are simply not responding to Donald Trump's request or rejecting Donald Trump's request to send ships to the Strait of Hormuz. Overnight, according to Reuters, Australia said it will not be sending any ships to the Strait of Hormuz. Japan said it will not be sending any ships to the Strait of Hormuz. Now, it comes as Trump is actively ramping up pressure on America's allies, telling NATO it'll be a very bad day for the alliance if they don't step up and support the US's efforts in the Middle East. But there's no indication that any NATO country will do so, at least right now. Japan said no, Australia said no, and it's probably why he spent the night really ranting about really his critics on Truth Social, and then responding very aggressively to any reporter who would ask him any question about what's happening in Iran. As always, spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio, subscribe for free. Follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. There'll be more to come soon.
They are asking other countries to come and help them so that the Strait of Hormuz remains open, which, of course, from our perspective, it is open. It is only closed to our enemies, to those who carried out unjust aggression against our country, and to their allies. We have not sent any message. We are not asking for a ceasefire. But this war must come to an end in a way that it will not be repeated again.
Australia will not send a warship to the Persian Gulf to help protect oil traffic. Our government says no request has been received. Despite Donald Trump warning things will be very bad for other US allies if they don't step up to help.
Declassified images are flooding out of the Pentagon. Iran is essentially defeated in the president's new phrasing today and looking for a way out. But Iran says it is not looking for a ceasefire and has no interest in talks.
We don't see any reason why you should talk with Americans, because we were talking with them when they decided to attack us.
The Strait of Hormuz remains closed because of the threat of more Iranian attacks on shipping. Donald Trump has begun calling on NATO and Asian allies, even China, to send warships to help.
It'd be interesting to see what country wouldn't help us with a very small endeavor, which is just keeping the strait open.
But despite the president warning it will go badly for allies who don't step up, so far, no takers.
We will remember.
Australia relies for much of our refined oil on crude that normally comes through the Strait of Hormuz. On Donald Trump's logic, we should be among those nations now helping to keep that sea lane open. But Australia is not interested.
We won't be sending a ship to the Strait of Hormuz. We know how incredibly important that is, but that's not something that we've been asked or we're contributing to.
President Trump concedes there are no signs yet of Iranians rising up against their leaders. Iran says 30,000 homes have been destroyed in the bombardment. The owner of this one says the hardship merely strengthens their spirit of resistance. Hugh Remington, 10 News.
As you know, Spain said no to Trump's war on Iran. Not a vague statement, but a hard operational no. And when people claim Spain was isolating itself, Spanish Prime Minister Sanchez answered with a warning to Trump. He said, quote, "We are not alone. We are the first," unquote. And that is the real story. Because the first country to stand up isn't the real leader. It is the second and third nations that follow, and that's the turning point when it becomes safe to join the resistance. The moment another government copies Spain publicly, denies bases, blocks overflights, refuses participation, this stops being Spain versus Trump, and it becomes Trump versus the world. Because once it's safe to join, more will join. This is because politics doesn't follow what's right, they follow the crowd. So Spain isn't isolated, Spain is the beginning. So, Mr. Starmer, Macron, Merz, who will stand strong with Spain and put an end to this?
그리고 단호히 그렇죠. 예, 스티커 붙여주십시오. 앞쪽에 붙여주시고.
동맹국들에게 그것도 한국을 콕 집어서 이란의 파병을 요구를 했다는 얘기를 듣고 너무나 분노스러웠고 더 이상 참을 수가 없었습니다. 헌법에 근거해서 파병을 참전을 단호하게 안 된다, 거부한다라고 답을 할 것을 강력하게 전달하기 위해서 오늘 이 자리에 참석을 했고요. 앞으로도 참전을 거부하고 그리고 이 전쟁을 멈추라는 요구를 끊임없이 주권자 국민들과 함께 시민들과 함께 힘을 모아 나가는데
The Strait of Hormuz is not opening up anytime soon. The United States Navy has rejected Trump's request for them to deploy to the Strait of Hormuz and escort oil tankers through the strait to collect oil. They're saying it's just too dangerous. That area has always been a choke point. Not to mention, Iran has put multiple measures in place to make sure no one dares to enter the Strait of Hormuz. They have over 2,000 attack boats ready to go. They are also putting mines in the water. And then not to mention them being in proximity enough to be able to launch missiles at any minute that could hit their target in minutes. Also, with United States military bases basically destroyed in that region, the Navy wouldn't even have any support if they did decide to do this. I really hope all you Trump supporters are seeing just how incompetent this man is, just how much he really does not know anything about the job he so badly wanted to take over.
After the president's request, General, China, Japan, South Korea, the UK are giving the U.S. a kind of wait-and-see response to helping with the Strait of Hormuz. Can the U.S. do it without a coalition?
You go into the Hormuz and beyond, you are now under a lot of Iranian fires, and we risk losing not just cargo ships, but warships.
Yeah, I mean, you say it has to be done. That is the big quandary, though. You know, how does it get done? Because this morning, Iran's foreign minister said that they are talking to some countries about getting through Hormuz, but it won't be the U.S. or even countries helping the U.S. in its attack on Iran. So when President Trump talks about U.S. Navy ship escorts, do you see that as viable and possible?
I see it as possible, but it is very likely that we will have ships hit, because you're going right into the hornet's nest. You've got Iranian forces on the banks of Hormuz. You've got 21 miles width, but they can range out deep, and we can have our aircraft over and everything else. But in the end, the ships have to go through, and a very, very serious risk that some will be hit.
Then do you see it as worth it?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think that I think everybody will have a different answer for that. We are now at a position where we have put ourselves, as I said, into a hornet's nest. Not doing it lets up on Iran. It also puts, again, major pressure on the global economy, let alone our own economy and the regional economy. So I think we are now in a position where you work hard behind the scenes doing diplomacy, but you've got to be able to get assets through, but at considerable risk, and that's the problem. I believe this has probably been war gamed at CENTCOM for years. Saying that, it's still hard when you've got to do it.
Okay, well, that's going to be a tough thing for a lot of family members of military personnel to swallow and to hear. And obviously, I mean, it is a very tough job, but these are some very frightening decisions that have to be made involving a lot of people. Brigadier General Peter Swack.
Let's be clear. Any country that sends ships over to the Strait of Hormuz, they're not doing it because they agree with Trump or the United States. They're doing it so the global economy doesn't crash. There's something called the 3-week rule with the Strait of Hormuz, and if you want to know more about what that is, go check out Mr. Global because he does a great job of explaining it. But basically, all of these countries have run simulations. How long could their countries and economies hold out if the strait was shut down, if oil was not flowing? And that's about 3 weeks, and we're getting to that point now. And Trump posted this today, claiming that many countries are going to be sending ships to the Strait of Hormuz with the United States to keep the strait open and safe. He goes on to list several countries here, but we actually don't have confirmation from any of them that they are sending any ships whatsoever. But to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And again, not because they agree with anything Trump is doing, because they don't want their economies to crash. And that's exactly what's about to happen. So much for no more wars, the peace president, and bringing prices down for everything and everyone. Are we great yet?
Row, row, row your boat gently down. Merrily, 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 merrily.
Row, row your boat gently down the stream. Row, row your boat gently down.
Come on, stop.
I know how it feel to wake up, pockets broken, hell of another.
Why nobody helps me to open Hormuz?
So what we're seeing is Donald Trump reaching out to allies. And in this rather imperious tone that you heard on Air Force One, he's saying, where is everybody? Everybody is looking at the situation and saying, why on earth would we want to get embroiled in his war? Trump is even calling on China. Why would China help America? China's ships are getting through.
China has no problem.
China has no problem. China and Iran are okay, right? So the fact that Trump is turning to a sort of arch enemy of America, I think takes you into his state of mind, which is, frankly, getting desperate.
So there was that comment that Donald Trump made about Keir Starmer that he's no Winston Churchill. And you go back to the Second World War, where Winston Churchill was desperate, was begging, was pleading with FDR, with Roosevelt, to come and join the war. And then the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor, and Winston Churchill dances for joy because, of course, it means that the Americans are going to be joining the Second World War. This time round, actually, the role of Winston Churchill being desperate is being played by Donald Trump. He's desperate to get the Europeans to come and help him. Please, I've got myself into a right frigging mess in the Strait of Hormuz. I started this war. I thought I'd get rid of the leadership. It would all be happy days. And now we're finding out why. Successive American presidents have said, you must be bloody joking to Israel, when they've said, come on, let's attack Iran. Because the complications are mounting. There are no easy solutions. It is very easy to block the Strait of Hormuz if you're Iran. And so all these countries are now saying to Donald Trump, you started this. This is your mess. Why are we obliged to come and help?
Trump is looking like a man who has never played chess before, who suddenly moved his king to the centre of the board and doesn't really understand why he's now under attack. And, you know, to this point, Iran has played politics with oil for decades, not just under this administration.
Absolutely.
But the Shah of Iran had America literally over a barrel in the 1970s when they worked out about the way they could produce oil and the price they could command. Iran was the centre of the world in terms of oil producing and how it was dealing with America. And the fact that Trump wouldn't even think 2 steps beyond his own nose as to what was going to happen if he suddenly created problems for Iran, the fact that he didn't even think that far is extraordinary.
We have some big news regarding the war in Iran. Switzerland has refused the United States of America's request to allow military jets and aircraft to fly over Swiss territory, exercising its right to neutrality. According to Bloomberg, Switzerland has denied multiple requests from the federal government, the United States military, to fly over Switzerland. Each time Switzerland said no, Switzerland is remaining neutral. In other news, Israel has told the United States, according to Semaphore, that it is running low on ballistic missile interceptors right now as Iran continues to launch missiles. Yes, launching much less than previously, but still launching missiles nonetheless. Now, the president of the United States still says the war is going to go on as long as he thinks he wants the war to go on, essentially. As long as he can feel it in his bones, he says, that is when he will decide to end the war. So we'll see what happens next. As always, spread the word and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. There'll be much more to come, I'm sure.
After years of talking shit about NATO and our NATO allies, Trump is now demanding that they come help clean up the Strait of Hormuz. You know, the strait that is closed because of the war that he started. I'm not kidding. We shouldn't even be there and we have a lot of oil. Yeah, no shit. And thanks for confirming that we started a war over something we don't need and you got our soldiers. Got it. So naturally, when the White House got asked why other countries that weren't even consulted about this war, should now send their troops into harm's way to clean up, here's what they said.
President Trump says that other countries should now step up to safeguard ships in the Straits of Hormuz. Why should other countries that weren't consulted about this war, that aren't involved in this war, now put their troops in harm's way in the Strait of Hormuz?
Because these other countries are benefiting greatly from the United States military taking out the threat of Iran.
Because they're benefiting from our military. That's the answer. They should be grateful. Do you recognize that argument? This is the exact same logic Trump used for years to threaten NATO. You benefit from our military, so you better pay. He used it to justify letting Russia roll over allies who didn't contribute enough. Now his own press secretary is using it to draft those same allies into a war that he started without asking them. Oh, and let's not forget that he built a whole new board of peace with 40 countries last month and then ran straight back to NATO anyway. You know, the alliance he spent years trying to blow up and the one he's calling now that shit's hitting the fan. And many of them are already saying no, and I hope they all say say no, every single one of them, because this war belongs to Donald Trump. Every dead soldier is on him. Every dollar of financial collapse is on him. Every family getting a knock on the door is on him. He wanted this. He chose this. Nobody made him do it. He fucked around and he's finding out.
So last week, a few days into the war with Iran, Donald Trump said the war is pretty much won. We've won. Senator John Kennedy went on Fox News and said we have already won this war. Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump both have said that we've completely obliterated Iran's military, except for their drones, missiles, and sea mines. But then, sorry, I had to sneeze. But then, hang on. I should have just let it go, because the sneezes always come in pairs. Then Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. They've started laying mines. They've drone bombed and a couple of ships and set some tankers on fire. And so that's been going on. And now Donald Trump has demanded that NATO honor its treaty obligations and come to the Persian Gulf and help us reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Otherwise, Donald Trump says he's going to pull us out of NATO. Donald Trump has never understood NATO. He doesn't understand it as a concept. He thinks that other countries providing defense for other countries for nothing without being paid for it is dumb because he's transactional. But what he doesn't understand about the NATO treaty, specifically Article 5, is that the NATO signatory nations will come to the defense of any of those other nations if those nations are attacked from an outside country that is not a part of NATO, like Russia. The NATO treaty does not require signatories to that treaty to come to the aid of another NATO country when that NATO country attacks another country and then starts losing a war that they started. It's a defensive treaty. It's not an offensive treaty. Just because we started a war against Iran, that does not obligate other NATO countries to join that war on our side against Iran. And very famously, Israel is not a NATO country, our co-aggressor in this war. But I think more importantly than Donald Trump being as dumb as he is the fact that Donald Trump is demanding that NATO countries send their navies to the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz is the clearest indicator yet that we are losing on that particular issue. We do not have the capability and cannot force Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, even though almost our entire Navy is there. But the one thing that would really push us over the edge to success is if France sent their Navy. So, as I've said many, many times, I would never and will absolutely never, ever root against the United States military or the members of the military who signed up voluntarily to serve their country. Our military is doing its job to the best of its capability, and we have the most ruthlessly effective and efficient military on the planet. But there are some things that our military just can't do. And this would be one of them, reopening the Strait of Hormuz. It is mined. Iran still has drones and missiles. They only need to threaten to blow up ships that pass through there. The mines make it almost impossible for ships to pass through there, even if Iran is not launching drones or missiles at them. And Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth both, despite having been specifically informed before they launched this war that this is what would happen, did it anyway. Because Donald Trump was just like, whatever, we'll just force them to do it. And now he's demanding that NATO countries send their navies to the Strait of Hormuz Otherwise, he is going to remove the United States from NATO, which he has effectively done at this point. He just hasn't put that specifically and explicitly in writing. And all of the other NATO countries are just like, yeah, we're not getting involved in this shit, dude. We're not getting involved in this shit because we don't want terrorist attacks in our nations. And we didn't start this war. You did. It is a war of choice. You did not get attacked by a foreign nation like you did on 9/11, which is the only time that Article 5 of NATO treaty has actually been enacted, when all of our allies throughout Europe pledged their support in the war in Afghanistan and that bullshit war in Iraq based on lies. It's not, I guess the best analogy that I could come up with is like, you can't start a fight with somebody and then when they hit you back and you shoot them in the head, you don't get to claim self-defense because you started the fight. That's not what self-defense is. This is not what the NATO treaty is. You don't get to start a war and then demand that your NATO allies come in and help you when you start losing that war because you started it. You didn't get attacked by another country. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore, man. The level of incompetence across our executive branch is unlike anything I've ever seen in my adult life. I don't think at any other time in our history. I mean, imagine if Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth were President and Secretary of Defense on December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. We would have lost World War II if these were the guys who were in charge back then. We would have lost World War II. But I'm sure if Donald Trump was president at that time, he would have been talking about what a great guy Adolf Hitler was and how he admires Adolf Hitler. And he believes Adolf Hitler in his very strong denials of the Holocaust or whatever. The entire thing is a farce. It's a kakistocracy. Everything about this administration is absurd, apart from the fact that they're people. Here and abroad, they are people. Pete Hegseth is doing it for sport off the coast of Venezuela. It's just, that's not how any of this works. This is not how any of this works.
How's your day going? Thanks for tuning in once again. I'm hoping and praying that you all are doing all right. Hopefully you all are staying sane. I pray that the Most High is keeping you, protecting you, and preserving you and yours so very well. And I highly, highly appreciate all of you for your support to me on here. And I want you guys to join me at the same time to give a special shout out to the members of this channel for supporting exclusively, and to those of you that donate to this channel through the super thank button. You guys are highly, highly appreciated. We are catching up on the, United States of embarrassment, getting embarrassed on a global stage to a point that right now, even if you wait, you do this, please come help, nobody's willing to come and help. And guys, oh my goodness. You remember there was a time when Zelensky was with the president and he said,
Ukrainian President Zelensky warned Donald Trump that the United States may be protected by an ocean, but eventually war will affect the United States and they will need the help of their allies. And instead of acknowledging Zelensky's points, Trump and J.D. Vance yelled at him.
During the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
you're only being protected by this whatever ocean. You're like you're being protected, but a time is coming when the ocean Not even the sea can be able to protect you. And then Trump was shouting, who are you to tell me that? Who are you to say that? No, you are in a bad position right now. You don't have any right to tell us what to do and what is going to happen to us. Yeah, and I think what Zelensky was trying to imply is a day is coming when you will ask for help and help would not come to you. You will call and you will hear utter silence, cockroaches in the background, nothing else. And guys, it did not even take that long for that man, shameless man, to go and ask Ukraine to help with, weapons and missiles and whatever, and how to handle this entire thing. And Iran was like, well, Ukraine has joined the list of the people we are targeting too, because you are now giving insider information. Iran knows it is doing the right thing, yo. And the world knows that Iran is doing the right thing too. They're only protecting themselves. You started this, took out our leaders, unalived our children, talking about we are targeting civilian populations. We are not. You are. You told people to stay indoors and you went ahead to bomb the places where they stay. You are the one that is targeting civilians. Because, let's be honest, I don't even need to inform anybody here, but the United States has a lot of blood on its hands. You see how they normally kind of literally accuse everybody of wrongdoing, of being evil. US is evil. And because the global West is being used to cocooning and putting itself together to come and literally obliterate, diminish, ruin, desolate countries in the global south, because they are always together like this. Those people are weak. They cannot come at you as one force as them. Let's say it is US. It is US's. No, they have to gather together. They have to gather together to come at one small country that they are talking about. It is a threat. US has nukes, doesn't it? Easy has nukes, doesn't it? North Korea has nukes, don't they? The West has nukes. How comes you guys are not a threat to the rest of the world? As if the world forgot Japan and that incidence of whatever, the Nagasaki and whatever. You all know. To date, those people are still battling what US did. You're talking about other countries are a threat? To who? I know why. I know to who. To you, indeed. Because your evilness, your demonic oppression, everything that you have done, it's only about time. It will catch up with you. And you'll be punished for everything that you did. I'm not excited about what is happening because I love the fact that the bullies are getting bullied, right? But then I sit back and I'm like, no. It's human lives. And I'm not a monster. I'm a human. A very sympathetic, empathetic human. I still have a soul. I still have the spirit of the living God dwelling in and living inside of me. I'm like, The world does not deserve this. But Iran said, we are going to punish the US. And you know what? I love it because guess what? When Trump is literally trying to support and asking and begging for help from everybody else, okay? Iran is not talking about we are going to punish UK. Iran is not talking about we are going to punish Germany. Iran is not talking about we are going to punish China. Iran is not talking about we are going to punish South Korea. No, Iran is like, we are going to punish United States of embarrassment and that bloated orange toad and that baby land. Because they came and attacked us. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like the Most High is okay with you defending yourself. He's okay. Self-defense is not only acceptable and valid or validated when it is the US. And you know what? When you call the NATO people, right? The law says otherwise. They have to come in self-defense. Okay? When it's a foreign entity trying to attack them. Nobody is attacking them. You did. You did. So do not start your mess and expect NATO to come and clean after you. You've never spoken anything good about NATO. Now that now that the war is seated in you, the war is seated in him nicely. No escape. He's about to lose the midterms. People in America are like, what is he doing? He's losing popularity. He's like, I need to get out of this. Come on, my friends. You know you're my friends. No, they are not. No, they are not. You gave them tariffs. Like, you called Europe corrupt. You insulted European leaders. You were a bigoted, old, bloated, orange toad. You the true meaning of you F around and you find out. You know P. Hegseth was talking about UFO. F-A-F-O. This is exactly what is happening. And for that Caroline Levitt lady, please, somebody needs to give her a leave. That lady needs to rest. That lady needs to rest because she is pregnant. Okay? Let her not put all that much lies onto an innocent child because children share. Somebody needs to give her a break. But she needs to get a break. Stop reminding people of how they need to be grateful to you when you are never grateful for what your allies do for you. And that's exactly why they are behind the scenes talking to get passage and leave you out. Because you never appreciate your allies. A lot of Americans come out and be like, we don't deserve Canada. We don't deserve Mexico. When you guys have wildfires engulfing and you don't even have enough people, whatever firemen to come and stop those fires. The same Mexicans and the people that you all are deporting and all of that. They are the same people that jump borders and come to stop your fires. Even South Africa apparently sent some people to stop the fires. But then you disrespect them. The same farmers that were deported. Now Trump is literally talking about bringing them back. When are you ever gonna repent and apologize for your sins? It is your pride that is going to be the death of you. Bloated orange toad, I'm telling you. That bloated orange toad. It's their pride that is going to bring down that United States of embarrassment. If I told you guys do not impeach him, If you do not impeach him and take him out of power, Europe, NATO, it's like we don't want to take part in this. This is not our war. It is your war. You started it. You gotta finish it. We ain't coming. Yeah. France is now in talking terms. Italy in talking terms. Other countries, Iran say we are talking to them. We don't have a problem with people passing. But now you, bloated orange toad, your lies are coming out. You said you finished this. This war is done. The Navy is gone. Hey, this country is finished. Is it? Why are you asking for help? Oh, now you know that you need neighbors. Now you know that you need allies. You accuse everybody of taking advantage of you. What you are afraid of is going to happen to you. That is a scripture in the Bible, that what they were afraid of will come to them. I don't know. I'm not saying it literally verbatim, right? But whatever they are afraid of, it's gonna come to them. And you know what, American people, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Your leaders, your country has partaken into so much. So the burden is gonna have to be for everybody in the US to bear. But who? Keep calling. Keep calling. Nobody's gonna come. And I'm not just excited. I'm like, yeah, that's what you get for being stupid. Just like you people were telling the Trump voters, that's what you get for voting this, for this. UFA. Guys, can you please let me know what you think about the decision of all these other countries forsaking and ghosting that bloated orange toad? Guys, I love you. Please like and share and let me know what you think in the comment section. If you do appreciate the compilations that I put out here, I would like to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share the content. If you want to donate, I have a super thank button down there. And I do have a membership for you to look through. Very affordable. Okay? Affordability is not a hoax here, okay? It's put in consideration. I love you and I'll see you later. My name is Gracie. Till then, bye.